Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're talking about this Recording King 328 model Dreadnought guitar, which I recently just purchased. I did a Sayonara video for my Martin DX1 RAE, which this is replacing, if you will, but I just wanted to talk about this guitar and share with you guys the story of how I landed on this guitar, kind of why I bought it, and just sort of play through some stuff for you. In the market, sort of, for a new acoustic guitar. I mentioned in the previous video that my Martin DX1 RAE had a bit of a crack here. Had the guitar for about 10 years. Was really sort of looking to buy a solid wood body guitar. And so I was in Nashville week before last. And just sort of went into some different shops with the mindset that I've got this like imaginary number. And if I see something that strikes my fancy, I may or may not purchase the guitar. And so I went to Carter Vintage. I think I have some videos I'll throw up there. Played some really nice guitar. I think there was a Kalamazoo that was around the $2,000 range, $3,000 range. One of the cheaper guitars in that entire store. Definitely played some guitars that made me a bit nervous, but really didn't see anything. And the way that I sort of like, I have this mindset or this idea that like I'm going to go and pick a guitar off of the shelf or whatever, and then when I strum it, I'm going to strum that G chord, and it's going to be the one that I want, and I'll know it immediately. And just nothing really stuck out to me in Carter Vintage, at least. And then went to Gruen's, which they have a wider selection of what I would consider guitars that were in my sort of budget. Played a lot of older guitars because I'm interested in older stuff and have it appreciating in a way that gives me a return on the investment. But again, sort of the same thing. But I didn't see much that I wanted, but I did play a couple Martin, I think they're called Authentic. I think they're called Martin Authentic. And what they are, they're like aged guitars. I don't know the specs. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen. But they're just well out of my price range. But like that was the guitar that I played. I think it was like $8,000. Very expensive. That was just like, no way. There's no way I'm dropping that kind of money. And so yeah, I just sort of left Nashville empty-handed. No problem with it whatsoever. Again, it wasn't like I needed a new guitar. It was just like something that's on the radar and just sort of looking around. And so I come back, I get to Knoxville, and stopped by Ciderville Music there near Anderson County, or in Anderson County rather. And this is where I've bought most of my instruments growing up. My family actually has ties to this music shop. It's run by my extended family. It doesn't usually mean that we get any deals of any kind, but nonetheless, it's sort of where I radar to when it comes to buying instruments. I got my first drum set at Ciderville Music. But anyway, I go through, as I do, they've got a wall of Martins, and play the Martins, play a couple of older guitars they have, and it's like nothing striking my fancy at all. Like, so I think I play up to like a D28, and they're great sounding guitars, and everything in between, sort of between the $500 range to however much that one was, I forget. But yeah, just didn't really think much of it. And then I see these Recording Kings off to the side, and just as you do, you pick it up and play it. And this was one of the higher end models that they have. I don't know how expensive they get or how higher end they get with Recording Kings. But anyway, take it off the shelf, and I hear the sound of it, and it was just like immediately, and the price had something to do with it as well. But I was like, I'm buying this guitar. I'm pretty sure I'm buying this guitar at least. So what was interesting was I was looking at this guitar, which was listed for $800, and this was like a couple weeks ago actually. And there was a Gibson J45, 1970 J45 in a different room that I'd also picked up and played, and that was listed for $2,500. I'm going to sound like an idiot for not taking this deal. But the gentleman behind the counter, I guess he just wanted to get rid of both of those guitars at the moment, or needed to sell. I'm not exactly sure what situation was, but this Gibson and the Recording King together at this point in time, he offered me a deal to take both of them for $1,500. Now, the Gibson was, it definitely needed a lot of work. I don't know if I still have a picture of it. You can't tell much in the picture even if I do, but like everything, it had cracks all through the body. The pick guard was a bit warped. The neck needed a lot of work. It looked like it hadn't been adjusted maybe ever. And he said it was like his personal guitar and he was letting it go that day. And so that definitely caught me off guard. I didn't expect to spend that kind of money for two guitars, one of which I probably didn't need. And so after a little bit of consideration, I walked. Didn't take the deal and didn't stop thinking about it, obviously. And so I didn't exactly know if the deal would still be there, but we had a big snowstorm this week, managed to get out to the music shop, called ahead and was like, you guys are open or whatever. And he ended up not wanting to get rid of the Gibson that day, which is probably a good thing because I didn't need another guitar. And I imagine it needed at least $300 to $400 worth of repairs. And that's just looking at it, not even getting underneath it and seeing what would be, if there was any bracing missing or anything like that, or bracing that needed repaired. And so anyway, just decided to take the Recording King. There were two of these, and the second one actually, I played two of them. The second one actually sounded, I thought, maybe a bit better. It was hard to tell, but it had like a small blemish right here, right on the top of the neck, the fretboard rather, down near the 12th fret. And so if it was elsewhere, it may not have been that big of a deal, but like I would have seen it every single time I looked down. And I'm all about wear and tear, but I didn't want to buy it. But onto the guitar, now that I'll actually talk about this thing. So I'll throw the specs on the screen, and what we've got here is a Adirondack spruce top. Like I said, it's all wood, and it's rosewood sides and back, with some very cool design features here. I am not the guitar tech wizard in terms of terminology, but I'll do my best. Solid neck. The biggest difference this guitar, in terms of the feel, is it's got, and I don't know the name, but it's got like this interesting angled neck on the back. Definitely, it feels very comfortable, no problem like hitting notes, but it's definitely like a bit different, way different than the Martin. It's got much more round neck. This is at an angle. It's angled, rather. And so that's been a bit of an adjustment, but overall, it's a super full, crisp sounding guitar. That's what I was looking for. I wanted something that really had a lot of volume, that would, punch through in a bluegrass circle. I get like no volume from my lead playing on my old Martin, and so I don't know. It was just, if you guys are like me, let me know in the comments. You know what you like the sound of, and when you hear it, that was just gonna be it, right? So that's why I bought this guitar. And what else about this bad boy? I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it. I've had it a couple days here. But like I said, very, very bright sounding, extremely warm. And so far I'm just loving the feel. Everything about this guitar is like what I would picture a bluegrass sounding instrument, and looking instrument rather, to look and feel. And so I just like that classicness to it. I can't wait till this gets a bit worn and, I kind of get it worn in or whatever. And I really like the tuners. So these tuners really remind me of what those authentic Martin guitar models had. That was like what I noticed about it right away. And actually the guy in the shop, that's the comparison he made, was to the vintage model Martin. And I think that these are a big kept secret. Like, I was trying to do research. I've played a lot of Blue Ridges, or I have in the past. There's Crossroads now that are really popular. I don't know about those. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Crossroads. It's a brand, again, made in China. This guitar is made in China. Recording King, to my knowledge, I know I'm just rambling, used to be an American company, or their guitars used to be made in the States, and now they're made overseas. Can't really complain really about that. Like I said, I lived in Vietnam for a long time. I played some amazing guitars made by local luthiers over there. Kicking myself in the head for not buying one while I had the chance. But yeah, I guess I'll quit rambling now, guys. If you want me to play more demos on this, I know this is just more of a talking video. But let me know in the comments section. And until next time, adios.